Hey, my Saxy souls. You're watching The Seasons Behind the Sound, where I break down the creative process and answer your questions about my debut EP, Life's Seasons. Let's go. Welcome to episode 2 of The Seasons Behind the Sound. Today I will be talking about Winter Blues, the second song on my debut EP, Life's Seasons. Winter Blues is about loss and heartbreak, especially during the coldest season of the year, winter. Loss and heartbreak can be in many different forms in many situations. This song to you can be about somebody you might have lost, a loved one, or a friend, or somebody you just don't talk to anymore, a relationship that ended. There's many ways this song can be taken, and it's really up to the listener how they want to interpret it for themselves. I chose the winter song specifically to do this because during the holidays, I feel like if you've lost somebody that you share the holidays with especially, you have all these memories, and it's a very difficult time for some people. I want to say a lot of people, because they have memories of a grandparent or a parent or a friend or a sibling. And it could be somebody they just don't talk to, honestly, anymore, and they've had like a tradition during the holidays. Now listening, you could think it's about a breakup I had or whatnot, but this is actually about my nonna, who I lost to cancer a few years ago now. And the thing about loss and heartbreak is that time may pass, but sometimes it just feels like it doesn't get easier. Funny enough, though, when my mom was listening to it, I asked her, I was like, who do you think I wrote this song about? And she was like, I don't know, it sounds like a boyfriend or something. I'm like, no, it's about Nonna. And that's actually my mom's mom. So I feel like when she heard that, she was like, oh. Like, I was like, sorry, I didn't mean to do this to you. But that's who it's about. It's not about a boy. I'm going to switch it up, stop talking about like personal connections and all that stuff. And I'm going to actually talk about the song structure and the process of making it now. I always like to start with a little bit of listening, so I'm just going to play the top of the song a little bit and then I'll talk about it. Stop it there. Talk about it before the words even start, because there's some fun things happening. So that beginning is actually kind of what started this song. I had a voice memo, like a little voice recording on my phone of myself just going ba-da-ba-dum, ba-doo-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-doo-da-da-da. And funny enough, we did record it like that, like the scat part, just for the time being. And a lot of people thought, like my parents and like the people I was working with, they're like, oh, like that's it? I'm like, no, like I'm not actually scatting that, like the saxophone's going in there. So I fooled everybody. That just inspired this like sax lick that is throughout the song. And yeah, without that, I probably wouldn't have been able to make this whole thing, because that was like the first spark of inspiration. And then you hear like the drums, how we're making like a snowy sound. I wanted to feel like there's snow falling. And if you listen to a lot of like holiday songs too, I feel like they always make the snow sound with like a cymbal, and they're like making a shimmer noise on it. I'm not a drummer, if you can't tell. Yeah. So I guess I can talk a little bit about the lyrics at the beginning of it, getting out my trusty book like I always do. So I start with, when the rain turns, it turns to snow. That's when I miss you the most. Just setting the scene, very simple. And I say, I cry, and I know exactly why, because you left me some winters ago. So when the winter blues, that part starts, that's like a pre-chorus. So the structure of the song is a verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, with a tag on the second chorus that goes into the bridge, and then there's a verse 3, and I'll put it down on the side just for my own sanity, with the order. So it's a very basic song structure, and I actually thought of the song structure. For those of you that don't know, when you are writing a song, there's always going to be some sort of pattern. And if you listen to music, there's a sort of, there's a theme and then a B theme and then a C, like ABC, or I could say verse, chorus, whatever. So every song's a little different, and depending on what you're writing about, sometimes it needs something different. Like Autunno, I didn't need another verse. I only have one verse in that one. But this one has 3. I had a lot to say in this song.
Winter blues paint the sky so, they paint the sky so cold, tapping on the windows of my home.
I really like that part. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the song. As you could tell, I like personification. If you watch my first episode, I really love it. I've always loved it in English class. I was like, personification, love it. So Winter Blues, I made it a person, and no, it was nobody specific. I just personified it. Winter blues paint the sky so cold. It just makes everything feel a little colder than it actually is. Tapping on the windows of my home, it's just always around you. You just can't seem to escape it. That's kind of the language I like to use. And I really like the part on the tapping on the windows of my home. I had that happen, and then Greg did something really cool on the piano, just a bring, bring. Yeah, and I really liked that because I was I want something that's like a tapping, but maybe not exact tapping, because tapping is kind of annoying. I'm I don't think I want that in the song, but something that fits and has a very repetitive sound. And then I just had a little sax scatty moment.
When the winter blues, they blow up, blow up, blow up. This sensation never seems to go.
Because the song is my second single, I really started to experiment more with vocal layering, and honestly, that part of the song is one of my favorites. I know I just said that about the other part, but I'm picking out my favorites, okay? I'm very proud of it. It sounds really nice. Everything just sounds so yummy.
Memories that live in the back of my mind, memories that used to be mine, but can't remember anymore.
So that was a part of the bridge. And that one, when I sing this one live, and I don't really prefer to sing this one live because I just don't like sad songs. And you're like, okay, Carlina, well, you wrote a sad one, but it's just, I like to be very happy and entertaining when I perform. And I don't get to play the sax on it because there's no sax solo. But that line especially, it's very hard to sing sometimes if I'm really thinking about the song. It's good to be obviously very in the moment and, thinking about what the words mean. But for emotional pieces, you can't get too into it, or then you're just going to start crying on stage. So yeah, that one really hits my heart because she passed away, my nonna passed away when I was 9. It's sometimes hard to remember things. That line's just very hard to sing sometimes. Some things that I struggled with this song was definitely one of them being the length of it. It is like a 5.5-minute song, so it's quite long. I really had to reassure myself that I have said everything I need to say in this and that I don't need to add any more because I don't want to overkill. I don't want to put too many things and it just be overwhelming for the listener. I want the listener to still enjoy and not be wondering when the song is ending. I hope the listener isn't wondering that. I hope you are not all feeling that way. Now a little bit about the song creation, the actual process. Like I said, it started with a voice memo and it built into a whole song. That voice memo inspired everything. What I like to do a lot of times, and this one is actually like a really good example of this technique, is just recording myself and just improvising everything. I improvised the melody, like, actually it's pretty accurate to the one that's recorded. I was actually listening to it today and I'm like, that's scary. Like my first go. And I also did like another version of it. I always give myself options. But the first one I was like, I think this one's it. And that's the one that's recorded. It's literally the exact same. The words might have been a little weird because I was just freestyling, going like off the top of my head. So then when I got to finally sit down and really solidify both the melody and the lyrics, that's how you got the recorded version of it. Song inspirations. Well, obviously, my personal connection is a big inspiration to the song. I can't remember what specific song was like an inspiration for the sound of it. I mean, I would say just like holiday songs, honestly. Like, you know, you have like those like blue holiday songs and things like that. Definitely listening to songs that talked about snow, just in general. I feel like that inspired the personifying of snow and winter blues and things like that, and like the colors they use, the words, the language they use. Sometimes it's just a variety of different songs. So yeah, I guess short answer would be snowy songs. In the studio for this song, it was actually very cold because it was winter time. I recorded it during like holiday break. I was still in college at the time, so when I came up for the holidays. But it being cold honestly helped because it really put me in the mind of winter blues and like the world of winter blues. I had my awesome pianist Greg on this, and then I had a family friend named Tony play the drums, and he did a great job. He was a little nervous, but he did amazing. I'm so proud. And yeah, I'm just glad I can work with real musicians instead of programs. Authentic music being made coming from the musicians themselves. A little fun fact is that when I was doing the improvised version that I was saying, I actually said a lot like holiday things. Like, I can't remember like, oh, the lights on the tree are flickering instead of the fire's flames are flickering. And then I was like, I don't want to make it a Christmassy holiday song, so I'm gonna take that part out. I'm like, I want to do a Christmas album one day, so I'm gonna save that stuff for later. Another interesting thing that I spoke on earlier is that there's no sax solo. This is one of 2 songs on the album that do not have a saxophone solo, which is crazy. Although there's no sax solo, there are a lot of sax layering throughout the song.
When the winter blues, they blow up, blow up, blow up.
So all behind that, there's a it's like a da, 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 da. It's like a moving line, and there might have been 2 parts or 3 parts, I don't remember. So there's a lot of little pieces in this song that you can hear the sax just having fun in the background, like I have my own little band. Now it's my favorite part of the episode where I answer your questions. Here we go. Where was I when I wrote this? Okay, I was in my room. Like I am usually for every song I write. I just like to write in a very safe space, and my room is my creative space. I'm always creating something in my room, a song, a dance, a video. It's great to have your own space that you can just think and create. Why the title Winter Blues? I actually had the title pretty early on. I knew I was doing a winter song, and I knew as I was singing it, my little improvising that I was doing, that it was going to be a blues song. That's Winter Blues. That's why. How long did it take to write the song? That's an excellent question. So if I look, I like to date everything. Like, everything's dated. I started writing the song September 2023. The song was released in 2024. February. But I had it done before then. I recorded it in December. So let's just say it was early September. So I'll just say September, October, November, December. 4 months. Thank you all so much for watching episode 2 of the Seasons Behind the Sound. What do you think the next one's going to be? Do you think they know? No? Okay. Comment down below if you know what the next song is going to be. And just as a hint, it's the next song on the EP. It's about weather as well. I'll see you guys next week.